Well, good morning and welcome back to RobMotive. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and smash that subscribe button right now. So can you still get a good deal on a new Toyota Tacoma? You know, I just got back from a cruise. I actually did a quick drive-through, should have brought you guys with me, through the dealership, and they have about 16 Tacomas on the lot, which is up from what I've been seeing, right? So maybe things are easing a little bit, I don't know. Now I will say, of those 16, I think there were only maybe 3 or 4 TRD versions of the Tacoma. Everything else was an SR5. They did have mostly double cabs, and I think there was a red, and maybe it was a black, I believe, of the TRD version. So they're out there, they're in limited supply. But that does raise the question, can you still get a good deal on a new Tacoma? You know, I've heard a lot of horror stories, dealerships charging 5, even as much as 10 grand over sticker price for a brand new Tacoma. In other words, taking advantage of the market, taking advantage of the shortage. In case you live under a rock and didn't know, there's a shortage out there of new Tacomas, new trucks, new vehicles in general, and it's all due to this chip shortage. All those little semiconductors that run all the electric stuff that we love, or I do, they can't get them, so they can't build trucks. So anyway, I drove through, I saw there were about 16 of them on the lot, and pricing, you know, anywhere from around $35,000 or so, something like that, and this is sticker price, on up to about $42,000 some odd dollars for the TRD version. I believe it was a Sport. But what I paid, you know, mine, I didn't pay this, but the sticker price on mine was $42,000 some dollars. So I'm not seeing any kind of a huge increase in pricing, at least from a sticker standpoint. Just watch out when you go there that you don't see a little tag. They always do this. They put a little tag on the side and it might say market adjustment. Ignore that. And if you can't find a dealership that will deal with you without that, then forget about it. I'll give you an example. One of the local dealers that I have, they always put a sign along the side of theirs for some sort of a protection package or something like that. And it isn't cheap. It's, I think, about $2,100, $2,200, something around the $2,000 mark. And it's absurd. I mean, I don't want this. Now, the thing you should know is that is not included in the truck already. That's something they're going to apply if you agree to it when you buy the truck. So it is a negotiable item. It is an item that can just be removed. You simply tell them you don't want that. Same thing as the market adjustment. Again, if they won't do it, then run, because there's always somebody out there that will. Now, what I mean by that, you should still be able to deal the way that you always did. I mean, when it comes right down to it, the dealership, if they're sitting there with 16 trucks on the lot, that's 16 vehicles that aren't sold. So of course they're going to deal with you when you're there, right? Their goal is not to have you come and leave. Now, that means they're going to have to give a little, and they might not give quite as much as they would before, but they are still going to deal with you. You know, I'll tell you, I had a grandfather. We all do, I think. But I had a grandfather, and he would never dicker on prices. The dealerships must have loved him. He would go in, and he would pick out the vehicle he wanted, and he would pay sticker price. And it's absolutely absurd. I mean, if you get $500 off, that's $500 in your pocket, and that is not asking a lot. You should be able to get anywhere, again, in normal times, somewhere between 6, 8% to 10% off. I mean, that's just the general rule. Now, it doesn't mean you're always going to get it. It depends on how hungry that dealership is and what their inventory is and the time of year. You know, they have to pay taxes on all those vehicles at the end of the year. That's why you see all those huge sales, right? Because they don't want to pay taxes on all those. They want them to move, and it could actually cost them more money than just discounting them heavier to you. So yeah, you should still be able to get a deal on a new Tacoma, given the right dealership. Like any other dealership, depending on their situation, there are those that will not deal. So what's the best way to find out what a good deal is? You know, the 10 to 8, 6% rule or something like that I find is pretty darn reliable. But there is a site, TrueCar. I've used it many times myself, and no, they're not sponsoring me, but I find them to be very handy when it comes to finding out what new vehicles around you are going for. And the good thing about that is it is a gauge of what they're selling for in your area, right? Because you need to concentrate on where you live. I've had people tell me, and it never fails, whatever deal you get is never good enough for the next guy. He always got a better deal. And I'm like, well, you know, the best deal is the deal that you're happy with. I don't care what Joe Blow got. I only care about what I got. If Joe Blow wants to help pay for my truck, well, then we can talk about it a little, right? But TrueCar is a great source to be able to plug in what you're looking for, complete with options and all that stuff, to determine what you should be paying, what others are paying in your area. At least it gives you a gauge. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't shoot for the best deal. Of course you should. You know, you can always walk away. Just because you go in doesn't mean you have to buy, right? One tactic I know dealerships like to use, the old adage is, the longer they can keep you there, the more likely it is that you're going to buy something. And the idea behind that is that you feel invested. You know, you've gone there, you've spent 3 hours, which is typical, I think, looking for a vehicle, and now you're gonna feel pretty darn disappointed if you don't pick something up, right? So they know the longer they keep you there, the more likely you are to actually buy something because you feel that you have to. Now, TrueCar, I mentioned, it is a good gauge. It's not the holy grail, but it's about as close as you can get, I think, to finding out what other people have paid. I've used it many times myself, and I've always gotten, to me, what I think are pretty darn good deals. I'd be curious to know, what do you guys do? What method do you use? Are there other sources out there? Maybe something I'm not aware of? Or do you just go with the 8 to 10% rule, and as long as you can hit that somewhere, that makes you happy and you got a good deal? I'd be curious to know. Leave a comment. Also, real quick, if you're interested, I do have 2 additional channels. The first is RobMotive Tundra, all about my quest, my hunt for the new redesigned Tundra as soon as they're available to hunt, I guess. And RobMotive JT, all about my experiences with my 2020 Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you, that's right, you, don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on your way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.